It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, next up, we talk about problem solving, and as adults, we have to deal with problem solving on a day-to-day basis. So it is so important for our children to learn how to get comfortable with solving some problems. And this morning, we have our parenting expert, Nikki joining us in studio, and she talks us through how to teach our kids to problem solve in a fun way.
Life doesn't always unfold in a straight line, so how do we prepare our children for the unknown? This morning we talked to creative parenting expert and author Nikki about why our children need to become good problem solvers to navigate a fast-changing world. And so, Nikki, if we begin by asking the question, why is it so important for our children to become good problem solvers? Why?
Kat, increasingly they're moving into a fast-changing world of work. Take, for example, a child who goes to a tertiary education institution, gets a degree, a diploma, whatever it is, goes into the world of work. The chances of their job changing within the first 2 to 3 years of being out in the workplace is extremely, extremely high. They're also going to be solving very big problems that are facing the planet, and we don't always know everything about the problem we're solving. So really there's a gap between what we know about something and what we don't know. So we need to prepare children to cope with the gap. And that could be at a very young age. It could be you don't pitch to fetch them from school on time. What do? They know you're not there. That's what they know. They don't know what's happened. That's the unknown. What are they going to do in the interim to find out what's happened and what they should do? Okay, that's just a very basic example. It could be your child leaves school, goes on a gap year, flies off to some foreign destination, arrives, and things are not as they should be. You're not there to intervene. What is your child going to do, and do they have the coping skills for when they land up in that gap of not knowing what to do? And I think so much of their time at school is spent with us trying to instill the answers to questions in their minds. But actually we live in an era where information and knowledge abounds. It's everywhere. But how do we access that information and use it for something useful and to help us to bridge this knowledge gap between the known and the unknown?
So how do parents go about encouraging their children to develop their thinking skills?
So first up, very importantly, when your children ask questions, celebrate. You know, often parents get very tired with the why questions. Why, which starts somewhere between 3 and 4 years of age. And it can be exhausting, but you really need to keep your children's curiosity about life absolutely energized and piqued throughout their childhood and beyond. So be interested in your children's questions and don't always answer their questions straight off the bat. Obviously, when they're little, you can't have a conversation. So they say, why? And you give them an answer. But once they get into primary school and they ask you a question, you know, why is the sky blue? Why is the moon so far away? Sometimes just pause, don't give the answer, and say, well, what do you think? Okay. We need to get our children verbalizing what's going on in their heads, because sometimes they have really interesting solutions. Even if they're not the right solutions, we need to keep that spontaneous, imaginative problem solving alive. Very, very important. Then, of course, there's this thing of collaborating in a team. So what happens when you're caught at that airport and your lift doesn't arrive, or your baggage doesn't come off the conveyor belt, and your mum is not here to help you? What are you going to do? You should be going to ask the right questions of people who might have the answers to help you. But often we don't teach our children this. So collaborating with a team, finding other people who might know more than you, and this is happening in the classroom too. Some schools have cottoned on to the fact that in the future world of work, children are going to need collaborative skills, creative thinking skills, and critical thinking skills, as in, what question do I need to ask at this moment to find the answers that I don't know? And if you put kids in a group and you give them a task and you walk away as the adult or the teacher, say there are 5 kids in the group, suddenly what happens is you have kids coming out of the woodwork who are specialists at something, even at the age of 8, 9, 16 or 18, one child will be better at one thing, another child will know something the other children don't know, and kids are quite good at collaborating and sharing. So giving them the opportunity to work in a group, and very often what happens is parents say, no, we don't like group work, because you know what, there's always one weak link, and that pulls my child's mark down. And actually we do need to allow our children the opportunity to learn how to work together, how to share, how to pull out the best from each other, how to learn about each other, what our strengths and weaknesses are, and how we can pull all those different strengths together to solve the problem that's on the table right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we need to teach our children, and to be flexible in their heads. You know, flexible thinking is important because life doesn't unfold in a straight line all of the time.
Nikki, as always, thank you very much.
Thanks, Kat.
So I think the summary of it all is that if you can't diagnose the problem, then you can't find the solution to that problem. And the best lesson that you can teach your child as a parent is to become a good problem solver. And it all starts with you.